Fear Not, Episode 77. Hi, I'm Billy Atwell, and I believe that consistently facing your fears is the only way to realize your truest self and to make those confident choices that will help you to obtain your deepest held hopes and dreams. I have faith that this podcast series will show you that you are not alone, that it will strengthen you and give you courage to face your fears, and that it will help you to permanently cross over into a life of living beyond your fears. Join me on this journey as we listen and learn from others as they share their experiences in facing and overcoming their own fears. Hello, everybody. Today you and I are going to be joined by Elba Miller. Hello, Elba. How are you today?
I am doing great. Thank you. Thank you for your invite.
Elba is a law graduate from Universidad Nuevo Mundo in Mexico City. She has spent most of her professional career in the corporate environment. She has experienced firsthand the effects of high levels of stress, which has prompted her to research mental well-being. She found joy on this path, which inspired her to get certified in primordial sound meditation by the internationally recognized Chopra Center for Well-Being. Elba was a practicing life and meditation coach for several years before focusing on writing and public speaking. Her newly released book, Beginner's Guide to Happiness: 15 Secrets for a Richer, More Fulfilling Life, is the result of her personal experience with stress as well as her education. Elba, can you take a few moments just to fill in the gaps and maybe give us a brief glimpse of your personal life as well?
Well, I guess the bio is pretty complete. There's a lot of things I could, talk about how I ended up doing all this and about my life. But I think the bio really covers it really well. I have a personal interest in talking about some tools that are probably new for audiences, such as the Enneagram Institute and things like that I would be talking about. But I think so far I would just like to leave it in that with my bio.
Elba, I know that your main focus is on helping people to be happy, and I know that it's important for people to be happy in order to face and overcome their fears. So I was hoping today that we could discuss happiness and maybe you could share some of the techniques that you write about.
Yes, of course, and that would be my honor. I always like to put my heart to every conversation I have, and I have to be very honest. When I was working on the title of the book, there was an interference with editors and things like that. So I love the title, and happiness is the subject, but also could be a little deceiving, and I want to tell you why. In my point of view, life is much more than happiness. Consciousness, life itself is much more than happiness. Happiness is, for me, just like a jewel in the sea or the ocean of consciousness. It's one more aspect of it. So if you want to know if I am happy, I can tell you that I am not happy all the time, but I'm okay with it because it's a whole journey. So life itself is being happy, being up and being down. And one of the things that I emphasize in my book is what is the joy of eating if there's no hunger? What is the joy of having a very good night's sleep and being happy about it if you have never experienced insomnia? So you see, we need the opposite in order to be able to appreciate happiness. So that is the approach I'm having in this book.
Would you mind sharing maybe one of those secrets that you give in your book?
Yes, I would like to share some of the secrets of happiness that I'm writing about. And one of them would be to know yourself from the psychological point of view. And I'm talking about the matrix of the ego, about the habits that are behind everything we do, habits that are unconscious. So when we know ourselves a little bit more, this gives us more power of discernment in order to choose. But we need to know where we're coming from. We need to know the unconscious part of us that is wired in the brain. I could deepen on this subject, but then I'm just going to share another secret and then we can just, go talk a little bit more, because obviously this is way more than what I'm just saying right now. Another one of my most important secrets, I would say, is trusting yourself. I think this one is one of the biggest ones for everyone. In trusting yourself It's a huge power to be able to face fear, to be able to really enjoy life. So although it's very simple, we need many other tools to be able to bring these secrets to life.
Would you, expand a little bit more on that concept of trusting yourself? Because really, fear kind of makes you not do that, and so you could, you can become sort of paralyzed in making decisions if you don't feel confident about yourself. So, could you help us to maybe build self-confidence, more self-confidence?
Well, of course, I would love to. And you know what, Billy? One of the things that I mean, and because it's so much information, I'm trying to bring it as accurate as possible. So I believe people are prone to certain things more than others. There are people that are prone to experience fear more than others. There are people that are prone to like challenges more than others. And even there's people that are prone to have more self-confidence than others. The reason behind it, this could be very deep. We could talk about the brain, we could talk about our childhood, we could talk about a spiritual perspectives. But the truth is that we are prone to experience certain qualities more than others. So we have to start with that. So for some people, it's easier to trust themselves because they have a system in their brains that has been wired to do so. I don't know if this makes sense.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so for me, in my personality, and then again, that's why it's so deep, because I like to study the personality profiles, and I love to talk about the Enneagram Institute. There is a school of typology personality. For my personality, I am prone to like to face fear. Fear, it's giving me sort of like an adrenaline. It's a positive adrenaline. So whenever I am facing a challenge, I like it. But this is not for everyone. However, there's an ocean of things that we don't know about ourselves. So I also have fears. The difference is that the fears are unconscious, and I don't know how to reach to them. So when I began doing all my challenges, I find myself in stress, even when I like this sensation of fear and being able to do whatever I thought it was difficult. There's still stress, and when I find out why I'm stressed, I realize that there's some shadowy fears that I am not aware of. So there are other fears. So in most of the time, and this is in my experience, I can really talk about myself, and I think with this I'm talking really a lot about the majority of people. The biggest fear is not trusting your self-value, not trusting yourself. Are you following? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
One of the things that I would like to talk and I think has to do with your show. One of the reasons that really I felt interested about talking to you was because obviously your show is about fear.
Okay.
And then it made me connect fear, happiness, and all that together. And I want to say, number one is, I want to emphasize that not everybody is wired in the same way. And we have to understand this. For some people, facing fear is a bigger challenge than for other people. And this is because of personality. And personality is wired in the brain. But as your show has also brought neuroscientists, we know that the brain can change. So it doesn't mean we're doomed. So first we have to start understanding that fear is the biggest obstacle to happiness. But fear is not experienced or not perceived by everyone in the same intensity. Does it make sense?
Yes.
To you? Okay. So that's one of the first things that we have to understand. And for this, I would invite, the audience to find out a little bit more about their ego matrix or their personality. There are powerful schools about personality. And these schools are not, they're really professional. And nowadays, corporations and even universities are using these systems because they're so accurate. Psychotherapists, psychiatrists are using more the power of, personality studies like the Enneagram Institute so that we can understand where we're coming from psychologically. And then after that, you begin to realize that behind all this personality, which is, in my opinion, a 95% of our being, there is consciousness itself, which is, the being aware. So being aware has fallen into a system or a matrix, which is becomes the personality. And we want to be able to get off the personality and be more aware and discern better, not based on our habits of our personality, but be more alert of what's going on. So,
would you?
Do you have a question?
Yeah, I was going to say, where would one go to these institutes or places that you were talking about in order to find out what your personality is?
Yes. There's two main schools. One of them was by the famous Carl Jung. So this is one of the personality typology from Carl Jung. But I believe one of the most powerful, and I'm going to tell you why, it's called the Enneagram Institute. And Enneagram is Enneagram, and then Institute. Enneagram from 9. It comes from the Greek word 9. Because this school talks about 9 main types of personality, seen from the psychological aspect. The reason why I find this institute more powerful than any other one, it's because not only they detail the personality, I mean, honestly, it's incredible the way of detail that they can describe a personality, but also they go so far to forecast how a personality would react or how would they behave under stress. And they go through different levels, like there are 9 levels in which you can just move. The school also discusses that we are born or we become, for whatever mysterious reason, and there's many different philosophies behind that, we become a personality and we stay with this personality the rest of our lives. Now, being under this personality gives us advantages and disadvantages. And again, one of them is how we experience fear, how we experience happiness. For example, just to so we can move on to with a little more of the book, there's personalities that are perfectionists, and you cannot expect a perfectionist to react like a peacemaker would. When one person is looking for peace in order for them to fulfill their sense of happiness, another person is just looking for organization in order for them to feel, satisfied and happy. So from that point of view, happiness is something, that there's much more than just a feeling. We have to begin understanding the psychological aspects behind that.
And yeah, if someone would like to connect with you and learn a little bit more about what you do and your philosophies, how would they best do that?
Yes. Thank you again, for having this opportunity. My book, Beginner's Guide to Happiness, is Beginner's Guide to Happiness, 15 Secrets for a Richer, More Fulfilling Life. You can find it in Amazon. And, I suggest you obviously to read it. I put all my love into it and my dedication and my professionalism and experience. Also, my website is by my name, www.elbamueller.com. I write blogs for Deepak Chopra's Center. I don't know if you know the author Deepak Chopra. I assume you do. So Dr. Deepak Chopra has a wellness institute, and I write blogs for them. So you can also read my blogs by just writing Elba Mueller Chopra Center. And I have other blogs somewhere there spread on the web. So that's many ways you can reach me. My email is very easy. It's my name, my first name, Elba, which is ELBA at my name again, elbamueller.com.
And Elba, what parting advice would you like to leave with us today?
Again, I think I'm just going to emphasize, know yourself psychologically, know your ego, know your habits, know the unconscious material, because fear and happiness are linked to unconscious areas. So we go through our lives and we don't know what's really bothering us. So we have all this ocean of the unknown about ourselves that we don't know. So I would just say the first advice is know yourself a little bit more. from the psychological point of view, and that's personality. Number 2, trust yourself. Above all, every day, I meditate with 15 minutes in my timer. And during these 15 minutes, I boost my confidence. I remind myself how much I love me. I remind myself the respect I have for me. I remind myself of my accomplishments. I remind myself of my lessons. I remind myself of my self-appreciation. So I do this for 15 minutes. And this way I boost my confidence. And when I go out to the street, I just feel taller from my spirit. Another advice that I could just give to anyone, and this Henry Ford said it in a beautiful word, and I would like to rephrase it. And it is not as powerful as when you are going through the experience, but he said, obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goal. So the way I can see this is, we are, let's say, my book. I want to launch my book. But if I turn around and see all the things around my book, like I have to talk to you, I have to talk to radio, I have to talk to TV, I have to talk to people, what are they going to think about me? I lose my focus because I'm just looking at those frightful things. But if instead of all that I said, yes, 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 but you know what? I choose not to see, I choose to focus. So then I just focus on a list of things that I have to accomplish in order for me to face my fears.
That's really excellent advice, and thank you for sharing. I also want to let everyone know, too, that Elba has generously donated a copy of her book, Beginner's Guide to Happiness, to be given away for free. So if you would like the opportunity to win that book, visit the giveaways page at livingbeyondyourfears.com to submit your free entry form today. Elba, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today, being generous with your time and your knowledge. I appreciate it.
Well, it's my honor, and I love the subject, and thank you very much for having me. It was also my honor.
Thank you for joining me today. And remember, you cannot achieve everything, but you do have the God-given ability to achieve anything. So stay focused, out of fear, and keep on keeping on. Until next time, be well and peaceful. For more information on today's episode and guest, or for resources that will assist you in overcoming your fears, visit livingbeyondyourfears.com. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, where 3 times a week we move to a life beyond our fears.